I gotta say something about this because this happened the other night when I was on a gig, and I'm talking about overplaying.
I had a terrific, nothing like most exciting.
And it really pissed me off, really made me angry. It's been a long time since I've gotten angry like that at a gig about something that someone was doing musically that was just absolutely uncalled for, didn't need to be happening, and just a blatant disrespect for whatever's going on stage, and for the audience that's listening to it, just disrespect. And it's a big deal for me because it's like, look, I've worked a long time to be a musician. I work very hard to try to respect the music, to try to bring what I can to the music. So what happened at a gig I played just last week before last. Anyway, it's just been marinating, and now it's time for it to come out. We played, and then we got off, and we're counting tips and everything, grabbed some food in the back. The next band had started, and the first couple songs were fine, and then they launched into I think it was Shook Me All Night Long. And the drummer, it was just over the top how much over. It wasn't just like an extra fill here or there. It would be like 4 bars in a row of gospel lick sextuplets on top of the song that he counted off already too fast. And he was like up there thinking it was really slick, like you could tell, and I'm not talking about anybody, please, but there's this thing of cutting that happened whenever I was just starting. Like, I had these musicians they give me these looks like, what are you doing? Don't do that, you know? Or I even had one musician say, you know, well, you play a lot of notes, but that's just your thing. And he was really saying, like, this doesn't need to be the thing, but it's apparently your thing right now because I was 19, and that's what I did. And so what was happening, it was just so over the top and so disrespectful to this. I don't care if it's a cover gig. You're being paid to play in front of people. No one can dance to that. No, and it was the entire song. It wasn't just like he threw it in and was like, okay, you know, that was it. It was the entire song. Never settled into a groove. Never just a solo on top of this. And I stood there, I'm like, is this real life? Is anyone else hearing this? The rest of the band was just laughing. And it's the first time I've almost just walked up. There's a window behind. I almost just walked up behind the window and was like, what are you doing? Stop doing that, you know, like, please just play the song. You just throw a fill in every now and then, but this is ridiculous. And what made it even worse was the bass player was leaning over the drums like, yeah, you're really getting it. And I'm thinking, guys, what are we doing here? When you show up at a gig, you are looking to dominate the stage or dominate the band or really show them how great of a player you are, you've missed the entire point of playing music. It's not about that. It's not about you. It's about the music. It's about what it makes people feel. Can they dance to it? Does it make them think of something? Like, it is about the notes. And that's not about how many notes you put in there. It's the right notes. So I beg of you, some of you need to hear this. I needed to hear this when I was 19, and sometimes I still need to hear this. Stop overplaying, especially when you know you're doing it. It's one thing to be like, I just did. It's one thing to listen back to a recording and be like, you know, I just didn't realize that was, you know, I didn't realize. I realize now it sounds bad. Pull back. There's a learning process. But stop knowingly trying to dominate the band, trying to dominate the stage, trying to put your own agenda above what the music is. Right out of the gate, trying to solo over whatever is and just squashing everything that's happening. And it's not just drummers. I've seen guitar players that just solo over a singer while they're trying to sing or whatever. I mean, it's not just us, but it happens a lot with drummers. And that the other night was just... It was so embarrassing. Like, I was embarrassed for them because it sounded so bad. And otherwise the band would have sounded good, but the drummer was just going nuts. And it wasn't a time when that needed to be happening. I'm all for fun. I'm all for going nuts whenever that's the time. And it's like, yeah, this is the song yeah, cool, do that. But whenever you're playing an open form gospel solo over Shook Me All Night Long at a club that's paying you money to be there, you better correct it. Like, you have to respect the music. So anyway, sorry, this is not like my normal video, but you know, I've just dedicated to keeping this channel as real as possible. And overplaying is a real thing, and it's something that a lot of people do, and it's something that we can learn from, but it's also something that if you know you're doing it, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. And if you're an older musician and you have some experience and you got some young cats on the stage with you, then speak some knowledge to them. Like, speak to them and say, hey, the thing you're doing, don't do it in front of people. Don't embarrass them. Pull them aside and say, hey, what was happening on stage tonight was not hip, it was not cool, it's not okay, and I'm not gonna hire you again if you do that. All right? You have to cut on them, and you have to let them know what is okay and what is not okay in a musical setting. That's the only way we learn. I've had people do it for me. I still have people do it for me. I'm still acceptable to that stuff and accepting of that constructive criticism. I want that from people because that's how we grow. But I'm telling you, you gotta stop overplaying and acting like you're the only one on the stage. So if this is your first time to look at the channel, it's usually not like this. I'm usually not angry. So subscribe to the channel. Lots of new lessons coming. I don't know. What do you think? Put it in the comments section. What do you think? Maybe you're new at the drums and maybe you don't know what's overplaying. It's different for every occasion. Maybe you've been playing for a long time and you're like, you know what? This is like an issue for me and I've known it for a while. Or maybe you're an older cat and you're like, you know what? I need to speak up with some guys, and I need to in a loving way let them know this is not what music is about. It's not about soloing and dominating the stage. It's about playing music and speaking a language. So anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think.